10 p.m. and a list of documents to be tendered.
Thank you. The updated TB8 index as of 4 September at 6:10 p.m. will be MFI 23.
And Commissioner, repeating the procedure that we've adopted in the second document under Councillor Fiona McNaught's evidence and then Councillor Dr. Betty Green's evidence, we have a cross-reference to the item in TB8, or I think there's something in TB11, and then a proposed exhibit number starting at exhibit 174 and going through to exhibit 186. And we note that proposed exhibits 185 and 186 were the subject of evidence in the private session.
Yes. The documents in that list will have the exhibit numbers attributed to them.
Thank you.
Councillor, you're on the oath that you took yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, Ms Hamilton-Gill.
Thank you, Commissioner. Dr. Green, I have a few short questions for you this morning. Commissioner, the first topic that I propose to go to relates to evidence that was given in a closed session yesterday.
All right. Pursuant to Section 12B of the Royal Commissions Act, I direct that the next passage of the hearing take place in private. That though everyone in the hearing room can remain, I take it, yes? That those who are currently in the hearing room can remain in the hearing room and the passage of this portion of the hearing not be published otherwise than in accordance with the usual direction. Thank you.
Dr. Green, you gave some evidence yesterday in relation to the CEO recruitment meeting that took place on the 20th of February 2025.
Yes.
And after that 20th of February recruiting meeting, the recruitment panel for the CEO changed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the new panel had the following members on it. It was yourself.
Yes.
It was Mayor Manoon.
Yes.
It was Councillor Ristevski.
Yes.
It was Councillor McNaught,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Harle,
Yes.
and Councillor Cuneb.
That's correct.
And the panel was able to work together,
Yes.
and they were able to work together, ultimately resulting in the recruitment of a new CEO.
That's correct.
Now, moving to a slightly different topic, you also gave some evidence in relation to the question of conflicts of interest. And
Yes.
you were asked in particular about the procedure which requires a member of the recruitment panel to declare a conflict of interest. And Commissioner, that was at transcript T2 2163, lines 19 to 45. And you were asked about a procedure, if you're a member of the panel and you perceive there to be a conflict of interest, that has to be declared. You remember answering that
Yes.
question? And you were asked some questions about if the applicant had a prior association with the member of the recruitment panel, whether that should also be declared or let known.
Yes.
And you may have heard the evidence in this commission about a prior association between Jason Breton and Mayor Manoon. Have you heard evidence about Jason Breton doing volunteer work
Yes.
in Mayor Manoon's campaign?
Yes.
And about his ticket?
Yes, I did.
And about campaign donations?
Yes, I did.
And is it your view that Mr Breton should have disclosed that prior association to the interview panel?
I would say that that would probably have been the better course of action to have taken.
And those matters were not disclosed to you by Mr Breton?
No.
And they were not disclosed to you by Mayor Manoon?
No.
Just moving now to the last topic, you were asked some questions yesterday about the conduct of Mayor Manoon towards you in council meetings.
Yes.
I want to ask you some questions about seating arrangements in the council chamber. During the previous term, that is the 2021 term, who decided where each councillor was to sit in the chamber?
I'm not entirely sure who made those arrangements.
Do you know if the mayor usually determines where councillors are to sit in the chamber?
I don't know.
And did Mayor Manoon in about November 2024 seek to determine where the councillors and where you would sit in the chamber for this current term or for particular meetings?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
I wasn't happy about it.
And did you raise the issue with Jason Breton?
I did raise it with Mr Breton.
And did you raise with Mr Breton that you felt that this was bullying?
I can't recall those words in particular. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Those are my questions, Commissioner.
Thank you. Anything arising?
Yes, if I can just, two topics. The first one, just on that question of seating.
Yes.
We have watched excerpts from a number of meetings. It would appear that at least the councillors sit as part of either North Ward or South Ward. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's kind of is that a tradition that's always, since you've been a councillor, has been maintained?
I think so, yes.
The evidence that you just gave about, I think since November 24, the mayor determined where you would sit. Does that mean within the group of councillors who represent North Ward, there was a determination which seat you would have at that table?
I recall that we received an email from the director, Tina Bono, setting out that the mayor had determined the seating for where we would sit.
So that was the particular seat?
That was a particular seating. That was the first that I had, yeah.
And Commissioner, this may not be re-examination, but it's a very short point.
Right, well, if anyone needs
that.
leave to take it up again, that can be raised.
I had asked you in your examination in chief about training when you first became a councillor.
Yes.
Can I just ask, this second time as a councillor where you were elected September last year, have you received either refresher training refresher training to the training that you received when you joined council back in 21?
I attend the same induction training as all new councillors. It's for new and returning councillors.
And when did that take place?
This term, I don't have the dates clear in my mind, but they were after we had taken our oath, and they're ongoing. We actually have a workplace health and safety one coming up.
That there is a professional development program for each councillor.
Yes.
So in addition to, for example, the refresher induction training where you all attend,
Yes.
this potentially is training which is, in a sense, earmarked for a particular councillor, and may involve, if there's an area where a councillor would like training or development of skills that can be pursued.
Yes.
To your knowledge of, have you got a professional development program?
No, I have not.
Right. Has it ever been raised with you
Sorry.
No, go.
In the previous term, Mr George Jakakis, who oversaw the councillor support, I'm not quite sure in terms of his job role title, but we were in the process of developing such a program from the Local Government New South Wales calendar, and then he left that position. So it's something that I've taken responsibility for training myself. So I have a look through the calendar, and I've chosen particular courses that then I have attended.
Right. And is that in procedure of informing you of either giving you the calendar or informing you of potential courses that are coming up? Has that continued in this term?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. But is it your position that if you learn of an upcoming course that you're interested in, that you could
I
apply
could apply.
to attend that?
Yes, I would contact councillor support and indicate that I would like to attend a particular training, and then that would be arranged.
Nothing further.
All right, Councillor, that completes your evidence. For the moment, I'm asked, as you might have seen from time to time, not to release anybody from their summons, but for the moment, that completes your evidence. If in the unlikely event we need to get you back, someone will let you know, but as soon as I'm asked to release you, that will be communicated to you. Thank you for your attendance and your assistance over yesterday and coming back this morning. I'm very grateful, and you're free to go.
Thank you, Councillor.
Excuse me. You. Next witness is Peter Harle. We're just trying to find where he is.
Forward, Councillor. Yes, the tight squeeze. Councillor, would you like to take an oath or an affirmation?
An oath. I do.
Yes, Ms McDonald.
Please state your full name.
Mine's Peter Harle.
You're currently a councillor and also the Deputy Mayor of Liverpool City Council.
Yes, I am.
Mr Harle, putting to one side your service as a councillor, what was your occupation outside council?
I was a TAFE teacher for 36 odd years. In the electrical engineering field, electronics, robotics, those sorts of things. And after that, when I retired, I became I ran an election campaign to get elected as an independent, representing the Liverpool Community Independence team on council.
Right. We'll now move to that. How many years have you been a councillor?
This is my 17th year.
The inquiry really has been concentrating on the 2012-2016, 2016 to 2021, 2021 to 24, and then the current one, with a 17 years of experience. You were elected, was it the term before the 2016?
Yes, I was elected in September 2008, directly after the administrator had been appointed.
So an administrator had been appointed to the council, and then when the administration was ending, they held council elections.
Yes.
And so that was around September 2008. You stood and you were successful.
Yes.
And I take it you've represented the same ward throughout?
Yes.
Which ward is that?
North Ward.
You're described as an independent in evidence before the inquiry.
Yes.
But at some time, did you join a party consisting of other independents?
Yes. That's actually how I started.
Mhm.
I started as a member of the Liverpool Community Independence Team in 2008.
So Liverpool,
Community
Independence
Independence Team. They call it LCIT.
and are you still a member of LCIT?
Yes.
Going back to September 2008, that first council that you were a member of, did a particular party have dominate that council?
No. The independents, the LCIT team, basically had the balance of power at council.
Who was the mayor during that council?
Wendy Waller, Ms. Wendy Waller.
And was she representing the Labor Party?
Yes, yes.
But you and your fellow LCIT councillors held the balance of power.
Yes, there were actually three independents, and they basically held the balance of power.
So in that term of council, you have Wendy Waller as the mayor.
Yes,
Who was the deputy mayor?
I was the deputy mayor.
Then in 2000 and, sorry, I've gone blank, 12, a new council is elected, but you have a change in the mayor. Sorry. The mayor is Mr Manu.
Yes,
And I'm just having a quick look. At that point, did the councillors representing the Liberal Party have the majority of?
yes, I did.
Right. And also as a councillor, but representing the Liberal Party was Peter Ristevski.
Yes,
Then from 2016 to 2021, Wendy Waller became mayor again.
yes,
Both Mr Manoon and Mr Ristevski were not councillors again.
correct.
And at that point, did the Labor Party councillors have the majority, or was it dependent on
No, the
an
Liberal Party.
independent?
The Liberal Party had the majority.
In 2016 to 2021?
No, sorry, I thought you meant 12 to 16.
Sorry, I
You're right.
jumped ahead.
Yes.
Ah.
2016
16
to
to 21.
2021.
You've got Wendy Waller is the mayor again.
Yes,
Mr Manoon and Mr Ristevski are not councillors.
yes,
And I'm sorry, I'm just having, I think with Wendy Waller, you've got 5 members of the Labor Party, you've got 4 Liberal and then 2 independents.
right.
And you also, that the independent at that point, in addition to you, is Caress Rhodes.
Yes.
And at that point, she was a member of the LCIT.
Yes, she was.
Then in 2021 to 24, so the next council term, again, a different mayor. We've got Mr Manoon as mayor at that time.
Yes,
And the Liberals with Mr Mayor have 5 councillors.
yes,
Labor has 4, and then again there is yourself and Ms Rhodes.
yes.
Did Ms Rhodes, you identified that she originally was a member of the LCIT. Did
Yes.
that change during that council?
Yes.
And again, roughly, when did that change?
At the beginning of that term.
Was she elected deputy mayor at some point?
Yes, at the first term, the first year of that term, she was elected as deputy mayor. Yes.
And was it sometime in that first year of that term that she remained an independent but not a member of the LCIT?
She resigned from LCIT.
Is it sometime in the first year?
Yes. Actually, at the first meeting when Councillor Rhodes was appointed deputy mayor, directly after that, she resigned.
And then if we can move to the current council, which was elected around September of last year, 2024.
Yes.
And we've been through this previously, but Mr Manoon's the mayor. You've been elected deputy mayor.
This term, yes.
You have another independent councillor being Peter Ristevski.
Yes.
But he is not a member of the LCIT.
No.
And then with the mayor, you have 4 councillors, members of the Liberal Party, and then 4 councillors representing the Labor Party.
Yes.
All right. I want to ask you some questions about your considerable experience as a councillor for about 17 years. In those, the various councils that you have participated in, looking back at different councils and your current experience, is there a particular council that either stands out or you think was a very good council?
Yes. Yes.
Which one was that?
I would say there's actually 2 terms, and that is the first term, 2008 to 2012. That was an outstanding term of council. Council achieved a lot of good things. The next best term is the term that, again, Wendy Waller was the mayor. This is 2016 to 2021. That, as far as my judgment is, was probably the best term of council that I've been on.
We'll probably return to this, but at the moment, your description of that council being the best term of council that you've been involved in, what do you base that on?
That council, in terms of achievement for the community, did more for the community than any other term of council. That term, I believe, generated around $400 million worth of community work that has never been achieved in any of the previous terms or the current term.
And when you refer to community work, specifically what type of work are you referring to?
Community facilities, parks, recreational facilities, those sorts of things.
What about the operation of the council as a governing body? So the, put broadly, the ability of the governing body to conduct efficient meetings, operate efficiently and appropriately. Do you have any view on, in those terms, assessing it according to those terms, which council was either the best or a standout in your mind?
Again, the 5-year term, which included the COVID issue, and that term, as I said, achieved enormous community facilities. And I think the reason for that was the mayor was one of the best chairpersons that I have had in my time. Her attitude, I guess, her way of governing was to let the senior staff of council do what they needed to do, and they did. There was no, how can I say, interference. It was an amiable council. All the councillors got along with each other very well. There were no issues that I remember.
The inquiry has heard evidence about the demarcation between the governing body, its decisions, and then operational matters. That demarcation between broadly those two roles, in your experience with that 2016 to 2021 council, was that observed?
Yes.
And your view on it being observed, did that have beneficial repercussions or flow-on effects?
Yes, it allowed council, particularly the operational staff, the operational part of council, to do what was needed. They did. And as I said, $400 million worth of community works were done without challenges. It was most of the council decisions were unanimous. And that's obviously councillors got along with each other very well.
Just excuse me. I want you now to turn to some specific topics. And one topic is chief executive officers and the termination of their employment.
Yes.
Given your 17 years experience, you have been a witness to a number of termination of chief executive officers.
Yes.
I think very early on in the inquiry, we heard evidence. I think we started with the termination of Mr Portelli's
Yes.
contract in either 2014 or 2015.
Around there, yes.
But I wanted to ask you particularly about Eddie Jackson.
Yes.
Now, and I've put it generally termination of employment. I think strictly Mr Portelli actually resigned.
Yes, he did.
But
The process had been started.
yes, and I think if we were in an industrial tribunal, it might have been seen as a constructive termination, but strictly he did resign.
Yes.
I want to ask you about Dr. Jackson. Now, Dr. Jackson was the CEO in the kind of second part of the 2016 to 2021.
Yes.
What was your view of Dr. Jackson as the CEO?
I thought Dr. Jackson did an excellent job. He was very good at what he did. And in particular, we had the COVID issue at the time. And I thought that was a really tough time, not just for Liverpool Council, but all councils. And I thought during that period, he did an excellent job. I was on the interview panel and we rated him very highly.
Now, excuse me for a minute. Also towards, sorry, withdraw that. Do you recall that in 2021, Dr. Jackson's performance, there was a performance review undertaken?
Yes.
You were part of
Yes.
this. And that review was facilitated by a Mark Anderson from Local Government New South Wales Management
Yes.
Solutions.
Yes.
Could we bring up, please, LCC.014.002.0511? Yes, please. Now, that document, as you can see, is the CEO Annual Performance Review, November 2021 Final Summary Report.
Yes.
And yes, you can see it's a summary at the beginning that the review panel assessed his annual performance review is more than satisfactory, with an average rating over 3 sections of the performance agreement of 8.3-10.
Yes.
And then in the next paragraph, you can see a reference to the committee, which consisted of the mayor, councillors Haggerty, Rhodes, and also you.
Yes.
And then if we could go to the minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of November 2021, INQ.001.001.0949. And this can be live streamed. And if we can go, as you can see, that's the minutes. And can we go to page 4, please? This was a mayoral minute, which referred to the annual performance review, giving details about it. And then if we can move down that document a little bit, you can see the paragraph, using this information and meeting the criteria for awarding an increase, the review panel all agreed and recommended a performance-based increase to the CEO's total remuneration package of 2%.
Yes.
And also that the next performance review will be in May 2022. And the recommendation is that the council receive and note the report which was carried. I know this was a couple of years ago, but when this mayoral minute was put to council and the recommendation was put, can you recall any dissent by any of the?
No. On the contrary, the CEO was actually being paid less than he should have been in comparison to other CEOs in our LGA, and that was noted, and that was I'm sure it was unanimous to increase his remuneration.
Putting to one side the salary increase that he obtained, the assessment, which was more than satisfactory.
Yes.
And I think we've heard evidence, well, it's described in the mayoral minute as very positive, working well, responding positively under his leadership. Can you recall when this was put to council whether any of the other councillors dissented from that assessment of his?
Absolutely not. All councillors were in agreement with that mayoral minute.
If we can, in this chronology, then move to, we've got the election, I think it was in December 2021.
Yes.
And as you've given evidence, a new council came in.
Yes.
And January, no council meetings are held
No.
in that month. From the governing body's perspective, I'll describe it as a quiet month. You're not, it's not that you're not doing anything, but you don't have the pressure of meetings, etc. But in the lead up to the first meeting, which I think was going to be held on the 2nd of February, did you attend some kind of meeting or interview? If I can describe it in, I'm sorry, withdraw that. In the lead up to the council meeting on the 2nd of February, did you attend some kind of meeting with the mayor and other Liberal councillors about leadership positions within the council?
Yes, I did.
Who attended that meeting?
Primarily the Liberal Party members, Councillor Rhodes, and I was asked an hour before the actual council meeting, might have been an hour and a half. This is around about 4 o'clock. I was asked if I would come in and have a discussion on the council meeting to follow. And primarily it was to ask me if I had any preferences in committees, in which committees I wanted to be on. And I said, yes, I'm happy to come in and give my preferences, which I did do. And that was the meeting. At the end of that meeting, this is just before the council meeting at 6 o'clock, I walked out and I was informed that, and by the way, councillor, we are terminating the CEO. And that was a big shock to me. And I turned around and basically said, there is absolutely no way that I will agree to that, considering not long ago that we gave him an outstanding review. I can't understand why you're doing this. And I was angry and I walked out.
So this meeting, I think, as you said, it was started or was either after 4 o'clock.
Yes.
On the 2nd of February,
Yes.
and your recollection is the council meeting was
Directly after that.
and ostensibly it was to get some feedback from you about which committees you would like to sit on.
Mhm.
Was the deputy mayor position raised with you?
Yes, it was.
What was raised with you about that?
I had previously with Councillor Rhodes, because we had the balance of power at council, it would have been that one of us would be elected as the deputy mayor. That hadn't.
Is that the usual procedure?
That's the usual practice. And you need to contact both parties to see what their preferences were. And that was discussed, and I was then informed, and by the way, Councillor Rhodes is going to be the deputy mayor. And we had discussions prior to that where we were deciding as to which one of us would be the deputy mayor.
I just stop there. When you said we had discussions beforehand about who would be the deputy mayor.
Councillor Rhodes and I, yes. And our team community independence team knew that one of us at some time during that period would be the deputy mayor. Our team had decided that, seeing as I was the senior, I had been there 17 odd more than that years, that I should, if there is a deputy mayor, I should be the first one, and then we would decide. My attitude was that every representative team on council should get a chance to be the deputy mayor. In other words, I suggested that it be one of the independents, then one of the Liberals, then one of the Labors, and then in the fourth term, I thought, to be fair, we would toss a coin and decide who amongst us would be that. And we had basically agreed to that. And then when it came to the meeting, no.
Again, can I just clarify, when you said we had agreed to that, that was you and Councillor Rhodes?
Councillor Rhodes and I initially, yes.
Just on the proposal of alternating the deputy mayor in the way that you've described, have you ever experienced a council where it's been done in that way?
No. When I say no, I don't recollect.
Do you mean a council other than Liverpool or within previous terms of Liverpool council?
I should clarify that. Within Liverpool, did you ever experience where it would have been a independent deputy mayor for a year, then a Liberal deputy mayor for a year, then a Labor? This is assuming that the Liberal Party had the majority, so that every year alternating the, in a sense, political persuasion of the deputy mayor. To your knowledge, has that ever been done at Liverpool?
It was done in that term, and it had been done in the very first term after 2008, my first term. That occurred then too, again, because the independents basically had the balance of power, and they, to be fair, said, I think, to be fair, we all need to share this, and that's what happened. So that happened in the 2008 term, and it again happened in well, to put it simply, it did not happen under Mayor Manoon's terms, because they had, they had the power, and sadly, they decided that they would have that deputy mayor position in each of the 4 years, which they did do.
But this is the commencement of the term from the December 21. But in those circumstances, the deputy mayor was voted in as the independent, then Councillor Rowe.
Yes.
But that rotation to, for example, the Labor Party, etc., didn't occur during that term.
No.
All right. Sorry. So getting back to this meeting, as you've given evidence, it was towards the end of the meeting, and you've got the upcoming council meeting. You're informed that the employment of the CEO, there was going to be a resolution to terminate his employment during that meeting.
Yes. And
you've given evidence that you were angry and informed them of your view of that proposal.
Yes.
In that meeting, when it was raised with you what the proposal was going to be at the meeting, was anything said to you to justify that termination?
None at all.
And sorry, could we bring up, please, the minutes of the meeting, INQ.001.001.0953? It could be live streamed. you can see their minutes of that meeting. And can we go through to page 55, please? Councillor Harle, you can see from that page the way that the matter has been brought before the council is via a mayoral minute.
Yes.
And the council would have moved into a closed session to discuss this.
Yes.
And you can see, I won't go into all the detail of the resolution, but clearly paragraph 3 is terminating Dr. Jackson's contract under a particular clause of the employment contract.
Yes.
And was it your understanding that that particular clause in the contract allowed termination without cause,
Yes.
but at a minimum 38 weeks
Yes.
pay would result?
Yes.
And again, I know it's a number of years ago. Do you have a recollection when you moved into the closed session and this was debated or discussed?
Yes.
Was a justification or reasons put forward by those who, or by the mayor who brought this resolution and anybody else who supported it?
It was actually a fairly, not heated, but it was a discussion that I had, and I raised the issue that I suggested that this was totally illegal. A mayoral minute should not be able to decide on the termination of a CEO. I thought that was a significant process. That's not what mayoral minutes were for. And I actually challenged the legality of it. And I was told that it was illegal.
It was, sorry.
Yes, I was told by the then legal officer, and I forget the lady's name. I had asked her specifically, is this legal? And she said to me,
this may be about to disclose legal professional privilege. Not sure where it's going precisely, but the council may disclose information legally.
I think I have the import of Councillor Harle's view as to the process that was adopted. Do we need to go? When you say, I don't want you to tell me what you were told by the General Counsel or whomever you spoke to, but when you say illegal, do you mean contrary to the Code of Meeting Practice? Is that what you
yes,
mean?
yes,
Yes.
Sorry, I just haven't thought about whose privilege it is, given that it's an individual.
Yes, it's complicated. But I think I understand where Councillor Harle's coming from and his position as to the process based on what he's told me so far.
Just backtracking, Councillor Harle, as you have given evidence, the vehicle for this resolution was a mayoral minute.
yes,
When the council moved into closed session, you raised, in a sense, the vehicle by which this resolution was being pursued, and you've given evidence about you had an issue about legality.
yes.
You were told you were provided with some advice from a general counsel. Was that before the meeting?
No, this was after the meeting.
But at the meeting, you did raise your concerns with the legality
Yes, yes, I did.
process. And also, what about the substance of the proposal to terminate Dr. Jackson's employment? You gave evidence that at the end of during that closed session.
Not that I recollect.
And if we can go back to the screen, after the, if we can move down a little bit, please. Yes, we've got it there. You can see the motion was declared carried, and on one level, the votes for are the Liberal representatives plus Councillor Rhodes, and then the votes against were the Labor councillors with you in addition.
Yes.
In the meeting, the closed session meeting, was anything raised? I'm sorry, I'll start again. Looking at the councillors, this was the first meeting of the new council term.
Yes.
Looking at that list, several of those councillors were new councillors.
Yes.
In that they weren't there for the 2016 to 2021 term.
That's correct.
Indeed, some of them were just new to council.
Yes.
Others, for example, the mayor had the prior experience from at least from 2012 to 2016, but wasn't a councillor during the period 2016 to 2021 where Dr. Jackson was performing as the CEO.
Yes.
During the confidential meeting, was anything raised about the fact that many of those new councillors had no experience of working with Dr. Jackson?
Actually, I raised that during that discussion. I had suggested that it's unfair that some of these councillors make a decision when they have absolutely no experience of working with Dr. Jackson.
And do you recall, was there any response to that?
No, I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody really wanted to argue with me on that issue.
All right. Excuse me for a minute. Can I go back to the process or procedure by which this was pursued in council? That is a mayoral minute.
Yes.
And you've given evidence of your concern that that procedure was illegal.
Yes.
Without asking you questions about what you were told by the General Counsel. I'll put it generally to begin with. Over the number of council terms where you've been a councillor, have you been concerned at times with the employment of mayoral minutes?
Absolutely.
And again, at a general level to begin with, what are those concerns?
I believe the mayoral minutes are abused. They are being used where I think the process should be different. It should, instead of using a mayoral minute, they should have been notices of motions that councillors would at least get 1 week's prior notice, and they would have an understanding of the implications of those notice of motions. But when you have a mayoral minute that is so significant, you really don't have the time to think it through. You've got maybe half an hour, 10 minutes. How can you make a decision on a complex issue such as this. And so I had raised that concern with the OLG several times, and the response I wasn't very happy with.
Yeah, I just want to clarify the use of the phrase illegal is intended to convey contrary to the code of meeting practice in effect at the time. That's how the basis on which I understand that evidence. That's right, Councillor?
Yes.
Excuse me for a minute.
What's your observation been about the use of mayoral minutes in the current term?
They have not been as intense as before. My personal view and the OLG's guidelines suggest that the mayoral minutes should be used for ceremonial things, issues that come up that need to be sorted before the next council meeting, but they're not significant issue in terms of monetary values, less than $10,000, that kind of thing. But and that has been observed. Although I do have issues with the new OLG guidelines, and
We were
You
just
coming
going to
to?
take if we can bring up LCC.030.004.0001. While it's being brought up, this is the new model code of meeting practice that I think it was maybe last week.
yes,
It can be live streamed, and if we can go through to page 18, 9.7, please. And looking at paragraphs 9.7 down to 9.9, our description of it is that any of the restrictions that were contained in the prior code of meeting practice, that is if you're given evidence, and I'm putting it generally, if it was complex or if it involved finances, etc., mayoral minutes should not be utilised for that purpose.
exactly.
This seems to have removed any of those restrictions.
Yes,
It can be given, as it was before, without notice.
yes,
As long as the mayor determines that it should be considered at the meeting. When put to a meeting, it takes precedent over any other business. He may, I withdraw that. The mayor may move the adoption of a mayoral minute without the motion being seconded. And the recommendation made in a mayoral minute put by the mayor is, so far as it is adopted by council, a resolution of council.
yes,
So any restrictions or guidance as to their use in this new model code of meeting practice has been removed.
yes.
What is your view or opinion of these new provisions?
I think this is dangerous. I think it's going to waste a lot of time. What I think will happen, particularly in a balanced council, councillors will say, this is new, I need more information. So what will happen is they will get deferred, and that is a waste of time. Had that been, whatever that mayoral minute may have been, had that been done as a notice of motion, that would be different. Councillors would be given the time to read through and assess that, may even get a briefing session, and that's another issue. But I believe that the mayoral minutes as they were restricted should have continued. I do not believe that giving that much power to a person, the mayor, I think that's going to lead into a lot more time delays and frustration, my opinion.
So that's in a balanced council where there's a motion to defer.
Yes.
What about if there's a majority numbers one way or the other?
Well, then of course that'll go through. That'll be approved. And there's not much you can do about it. I mean, it may cause a rescission motion, and I think that would, and that will delay it further. So I personally think this is the wrong way to go. I think what we had before was better.
If the restriction as to content is removed, would you be in favour of at least there being a minimum notice requirement?
Yes, but the problem is the mayoral minute is, first you get to know about it is at the meeting.
Well, that's why I raise it, to prevent I withdraw that too. So some way to responding to your concern about complex matters coming before you, either at the meeting or very shortly before, would a minimum notice requirement before mayoral minutes can be put before a meeting go some way into addressing that, even if the content restriction has been removed?
It could, although I believe that just use the normal procedure. Use a notice of motion, which then gives the normal delay. You can ask questions about it, which you won't even be able to ask questions unless it's on the floor of the council.
As part of your answer, you distinguish between where a council where there was a balance of power and then a council where one of the established parties has a majority. In those circumstances, the result may be inevitable.
Yes.
But it's an important issue that if a matter is pursued via a notice of motion, it allows other councillors to do research, to consider it, to generate a proper debate on the floor of council, so it becomes more transparent, and for members of the community, they can hear the debate, hear points both for and against, which may ultimately influence their views on their elected officials in the future.
Exactly. Yes, it allows the public to look at that, a mayoral minute, which they can't at the moment. But in that instance, if that were a notice of motion, it would have to go out to the public. The public would see it. They could come at a public forum, raise their concerns, which you won't be able to do like this.
And that last procedure you referred to, I take it the agenda, so not a confidential agenda, it's put on the website beforehand.
Yes.
So as a member of public, I can look at that.
Yes.
And I can also apply to speak within the public forum section of the council meeting.
Yes.
And that procedure and possible engagement and involvement by the public is denied if you pursue a mayoral minute.
Yes.
In one of your answers, you referred to briefing sessions and then said something along the lines of that's another matter. Are you referring to the changes in this new model code?
Yes.
Could we bring up within the code section 3.31, please? Page 8. Were these the provisions that you were referring to when you made that comment?
Yes.
3.31, briefing sessions must not be held to brief councillors on business listed on the agenda for meetings of the council or committees of the council. That's a change.
Yes.
And what is your view of that change?
cancelling or stopping briefing sessions, I think, is negative. Quite often with projects that are presented to council, you may get 200 or 300 pages on that project. Now, we can all read, but whether or not we comprehend fully what you've read is a different matter. And so at the briefing sessions, you have the experts, the engineers, the planners and so on, and you can ask them questions and then they can elucidate on those issues. By getting rid of briefing sessions and then making them part of the council meeting, what that will do is make the council meetings extraordinarily long. And I would suggest that we are going to have, councils that are going to have to adopt this will invariably need to have more council meetings. The minimum number of meetings at the moment is 12 a year. I would suggest that if this happens, we're going to have to double the number or find additional time to do this. I know the briefing sessions currently take around about 3 hours on average. And that's, you're going to have to add that somewhere. Someone has to make that time available. That's if you want to come up with decisions that are meaningful. Otherwise, I have some issues.
All right. Can I move back to another subtopic under termination of CEOs, contracts of employment, and this time to Mr. Ajaka?
Yes.
And we've heard evidence about, broadly the chronology with Mr. Ajaka, that it appears to arise first in April 2024 as a result of a meeting that the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, Mr. Ajaka and Mr. Portelli attended, which dealt with an aspect of the budget, and then led to, again, a mayoral minute being presented at the council meeting, I think in April. Can I just ask you, in the lead up to that meeting in April, had you heard what had gone on or what allegedly had gone on at that meeting, which was held on about, I think, the 16th of April?
I don't remember the dates exactly, but I did receive a phone call from Mr. Ajaka. I believe the day after the, what would you call it, the swearing session?
I think that's what we've been describing today.
It's had a few labels, but we'll understand that one.
And I got a phone call early in the morning the next day, and the CEO asked me, could I come in? And I think his words were, could I come in? There's an urgent issue, and you can guess what it was about. And I did not know what it was about. So I drove in, and Councillor Betty Green, Dr. Betty Green, was asked to come in as well. And we both came in and spoke to the CEO, who then said something along the lines, I have an issue that you need to know about. And he then told us about the incident the day before where he had said, shut DF up. And I thought that was unusual. Yes, I could say more, but sorry.
No, if you want to.
Oh, I think from my personal perspective, at various council meetings, I thought that initial amiable relationship between the Mayor and the CEO had deteriorated over time. That was my view, and this was a culmination of the frustration I believe the CEO had.
What led you to that view over the?
Body language, when we were in meetings, usually what happens, it's a very large table and the mayor and the CEO sit at one end and they usually chat and talk to each other. But prior to that, they would sit apart and not communicate the same way as they normally did. I thought there wasn't normal.
The swearing meeting was in April.
Mhm.
Are you able to give an indication of when you started observing that change in behaviour between the two gentlemen, which suggested a deterioration in the relationship?
Not really. It probably happened over a number of months. Yes, I'm sure it happened over a number of months. I didn't take particular note. I just thought it was unusual. I didn't raise the issue. It's just something I observed.
During this meeting with Mr. Ajaka, where he informed you about what had occurred at the swearing meeting,
Yes.
and he rang you and said something along the lines of, I have an issue.
Yes.
During the meeting, was like a resolution or what he was going to do about it, if anything, raised?
I don't recollect exactly what was said. I was asked my opinion and I don't even remember exactly what I said. Apologise and bury the hatchet or words to that effect, which tends to be what I say.
And do you recall when you proposed something along those lines, what his reaction was?
I believe he was going to do that. He indicated that he isn't normally like that, that he had lost his temper.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's more or less apologised for what he had said and that we should know about it.
Sorry, that he was going to apologise or had apologised?
No, for his words, his choice of words at the meeting. He apologised for that and he said, it's not normally, that's not me. And I believe it isn't him. It's just, it must have been frustration. And I don't know, well, I have my own opinions, what drove him to that.
So he expressed his apology to you and Councillor Green
Yes.
in that meeting and
Yes.
had indicated to you that he intended to apologise.
Yes, I believe he did, yes.
I was going to move to a different part of this.
Yes.
Could I just raise two matters?
Yes.
The first matter is, if that's an appropriate time for our break.
Yes.
Assuming it is, and I apologise, I don't think we've had, we have spoken to Mr. Harle? No, we haven't. Oh, sorry. Would you just excuse me?
Yes.
And I do apologise to Mr. Harle. I haven't had a chance to discuss with him programming today,
You can do that in the break.
but I understand, fingers crossed, Mr. Breton and his representatives should be back here at
I
12.
see.
I'm sorry.
I see. I see.
What I was going to propose is if we interpose Mr. Breton to finish his evidence.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping we can then continue Mr. Harle's evidence this afternoon.
Yes. You can get as close as you can.
Yes, I will have to say I had high hopes, but I don't think Mr. Harle will be finished today.
Okay.
But
We'll take it as far as we can.
yes.
And do we, all that's fine. Do we have any sense of how long Mr. Breton next passage might take?
Mr. Boyle on the last occasion indicated about half an hour.
Yes.
I've got a couple of questions for him.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure about Mr. Tynan,
Of
whether
course.
So if
All
we
right.
operate roughly on about an hour.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take 15 minutes now, and then we can continue with Councillor Harle until a convenient
Yes.
break point. Councillor, we're just going to take a short morning tea break. Feel free to stretch your legs for 15 minutes. I'll resume at 10 to 12. So if you wouldn't mind being back here ready to go then, I'd be grateful. Mr. Parrish, in the interest of efficiency, there's one issue of clarification I wish to ask Mr. Breton about concerning his report that was produced. It's on page 37.
Yes.
It's the first line of the sentence that says, "There is evidence council may." I won't go any further than that because I don't know whether that's caught by any confidentiality concerns. So I just want to ask him a couple of quick clarifications about what he had in mind when writing that paragraph. Just giving you a heads up in case you need to consider whether that should be done in private or not before we get there.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was going to suggest, given the length of that report and the various topics it covers in various ways,
Yes.
that the session in general be closed, because I was not sure what topics you might cover.
That's
And
the-
then if it was uncontroversial, I would we would take the usual approach of then
Right.
either redacting or not redacting. Of course, that was my approach, but I thank you for your foreshadowing.
Okay. 10 to 12. Thank you.
We're going to commence with Mr. Breton.
Yes.
Unusually, I will seek leave just to put some additional documents that have recently come to the council assisting team to Mr. Breton.
Yes.
Recently come to the council assisting team to Mr. Breton.
Yes.
When I have completed that, if we can then either, if somebody else has a question, or just move to Mr. Boyle.
Yes.
We have had a communication from Mr. Breton's legal representatives that they would seek a break before asking him questions. Depending on the timing, it may be we take a slightly early lunch break, come back, finish Mr. Breton, and then continue with Mr. Harle.
And Councillor Harle's been told something?
Yes.
Has he been given a notional marking of when he, just so he doesn't have to sit around unnecessarily if he wants to get some fresh air or something?
We suggested to him 2 o'clock.
Okay.
At the moment, I think he's sitting in one of the other rooms,
Right.
but we have his mobile number and we informed him, go out, get some fresh air if you want to.
All right. Well, if he's listening, he doesn't need to be back until 2 o'clock.
Yes.
All right. Let's have Mr. Breton back. Forward, Mr. Breton. Just have you re-sworn, given that it's been a couple of days since you were here last.
Okay. I do.
Mr. Breton.
Yes, Mr. Ball.
Yes. So we're back in.
We're back in public session.
Very good. Associate, could you please bring up document LCC.008.001.0014?
document on the live?
Yes, that's fine. And if you could just scroll down to show that email at the bottom. Mr. Breton, do you see the email on the screen is an email to Craig Napick at Liverpool Council and Margot Kindley? Can you see that?
Yes.
And this is the 9th of May 2024. Do you see that's the date on this?
Yes.
And this is in relation to the Weir investigation to be conducted by Peter Harvey. You can see that from the content of the email.
Yes.
And then if we just scroll up to the email at the top of the page, please. You see there it refers to this having been approved by the acting CEO, and that was you, wasn't it, Mr. Breton?
It was.
Yes. If we could then, so in other words, it's right, isn't it, that you were aware and you effectively approved an investigation by Weir into the events surrounding Mr. Ajaka. Is that right?
Yes.
If we could go please to lcc.008.001.0033, and again, that document can go on the live stream. And if you could scroll down, please, Associate. So you see that the document on the screen, Mr. Breton, is an email from Mr. Peter Harvey of Weir Consulting, providing an update in relation to his investigation.
Yes.
And that's an update that's provided on the 22nd of May, 2024. Do you see that?
Yes.
Were you informed as to this update around the time? Or you can't recall?
I can't recall. It's the first time I've seen the email.
If we could just go to the email at the top of the chain for a moment. Yes, you're obviously not copied there, but and you don't recall.
I just don't recall. Obviously, I know the issue. Yeah.
Yes. If we could then please, operator, go to document lcc.008.001.0029. And again, it can go on the live stream, yes. And then if you could just go down, please, to page 3 of this document. You see there, and I think, actually, if you could just get down to the email at the foot of the page. See, Mr. Breton, there's an email from Craig Napick on the 24th of May to Peter Harvey and Margot Kindley, in which he says, hi, Peter, I know you are preparing an interim report for us to provide to council next week. Do you see that?
Yes.
And he refers there to the need for that report to include some commentary around preliminary findings. You see that?
Yes.
Do you recall having any input into what this interim report ought to contain and in relation to its provision to the council?
Can you just break that question down? Did I know? Did I have any?
Did you have any input into, in effect, the desire that is expressed in this email for there to be something beyond a procedural update? Did you? In other words, did you ask that there be preliminary findings contained in an interim report that was going to be provided to the council?
No. This email appears to me to be in line with our printing requirements. If the council meeting was next week, there'd be some threshold times and dates where if a paper was going up, it looks like Craig needs the paper to prepare the report.
Well, what I want to suggest to you is it's saying that the report from Mr. Weir will be provided to the council. Do you accept that?
Yes.
That's what the email says.
Yes. And the, yeah,
so
okay.
in that context, what I want to suggest to you is that Mr. Napick, if that's how you pronounce it,
Yes.
is seeking that report do more than simply say, I've interviewed a series of people, and in that way is seeking some preliminary findings and something more than just a procedural update.
I don't know how to answer that question.
No.
I've got the exhibit in front of us. I don't know what it was in Craig Napick's mind when he wrote that email.
Right. So you say you don't know what's in his mind. Does that mean, did you have any conversations with him that you can recall at or around that time?
I would have been speaking to Craig every single day around that time.
And in relation to the matters that were being investigated by Weir Consulting?
Around the matters relating to Mr. Ajaka, yes?
If we could go, please, operator, to lcc.002.004.0361, and that document can go on the live stream. This is the interim report which Weir Consulting prepared. If you scroll down just so that we can see the date, see that it's dated the 27th of May 2024. Do you see that at the foot of the page on the screen?
I do.
Do you recall seeing this document before, Mr. Breton?
Could you help me with the date of that email exchange between Napick and
Yeah, so that was on the 24th of May.
24th? And then this arrives on the 27th.
Yes.
Okay.
With a view to there being a meeting of council coming up, and the idea being that this report was to be provided to
Yes, yes.
council.
Understood. Yes. I probably would have seen it when it was delivered to us.
Yes. And you don't recall, I mean, it bears the date, the 27th of May, 2024, but you can't, sitting here today, you can't recall when you received it, but you can effectively assume that you would have got it at or around the time.
I have no independent memory of the exact time or date, but it was the biggest discussion in town, and we were waiting for the report. Yes.
And then if you could scroll down, please, operator. I'm sorry, I don't have the page number, but at 1.9 is the relevant. See, Mr. Harvey, I mean, I'm not going to, I don't really need to put this to you, but what I was going to say of this report, Mr. Breton, is that notwithstanding the exchange that we went to about it being more than a procedural update, with respect, it doesn't really do much beyond being a procedural update. If we scroll up and allow Mr. Breton to have a read of the document, I'm sorry, if you could go up to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yes. As I've said before, Mr. Breton, if at any time you're shown a document and you need more time to look at it, you feel free to sing out.
I'm okay with the general principles of where the question is going. We're not foreign to an interim report, Commissioner.
Yes, Mr. Ball.
May it please, if you could go then back, please, operator, to 1.9. All I was going to say of this report, Mr. Breton, is that you see at 1.9, the recommendation that Peter Harvey makes is that the council wait for the outcome of the final fact-finding report. You see that?
Yes.
And in terms of waiting for the outcome of that report, what do you understand reading that council is invited to wait to do? Make a decision with respect to Mr. Ajaka's employment?
That's my assumption, yes. I think that came off the floor of the council meeting, either through Councillor Caliander or Cress Rhodes, that we should wait for the outcome of a report. Yes, that's consistent.
And then if we could go, please, operator, to document INQ.001.001.1105. Now, you can see, Mr Breton, these are the minutes of an ordinary meeting of the council held on the 29th of May, 2024. You see that?
Yes.
And you're listed at about 0.7 on the page as being present at the meeting. You see that?
Yes.
And you recall being present at that meeting?
Yes.
If we could move forward to _0051, please, associate. And just take a moment, Mr. Breton, to read, and operator, if you could just scroll down slightly so that we can see. Yes.
Yes.
And if we can then, so I'm just allowing you to have a moment to read what transpired in respect of this agenda item being subject staffing matter and item number Mayor 01. You can see the recommendation is made that council terminate Mr Ajaka's employment.
Yes.
And then it says council decision, the recommendation be adopted. The motion was carried, and it was carried on the mayor's casting vote. See that?
Correct.
And then if we just scroll down, please, to the motion of dissent. There's a motion of dissent moved by Councillor Caliander. You see that?
Yes.
And seconded by Councillor Green.
Yes.
And that motion says a decision should not be made until the current investigation findings are available. You see that?
Yes.
Do you recall whether the interim report was provided to the council prior to this meeting?
I assume so.
But you don't have a recollection as to whether it was?
No, I don't have a recollection.
And do you?
Not giving the tenure of 0.1, it makes it even more ambiguous.
Yes. Yes, particularly in view of what 1.9 on the document that I just took you to a moment ago indicates.
Yes.
Sitting here today and not in light of the answer that you've just given, do you accept that it would have been an appropriate course that interim report be provided to the council prior to voting on these motions?
That's interesting because, again, it's an interim report. And I think if we go back to the NAPIC email, maybe the head of people was looking to respond to the council without the report, if that was his intent, but that can't be my evidence. But I just can't recall whether the interim report was provided. It certainly was. I don't think it was an annexure to the mayoral minute.
Are you familiar with section 335 of the Local Government Act in
Yes.
your position as the Chief Executive Officer, Mr Breton?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the obligation on a general manager, effectively being the same as a CEO of a council, to ensure that the mayor and other councillors are given timely information and advice and administrative and professional support necessary to effectively discharge their functions?
Yes.
So, cognizant of that then, do you accept that it would have been an appropriate course to provide the interim report to the council prior to voting on these motions?
Well, I can't accept that because that's not my evidence. But I accept my requirement under 335, but that's not my evidence today that the report was or wasn't provided.
I think what's being explored with you is, and it's difficult because some of the documents are a little unclear, but let's just assume for the moment that, and this rises or falls on the basis of the assumption, but make the assumption that the interim report was received on the 27th
Yes.
and that you received it on the 27th. I think what Mr. Boyle is exploring with you is on that assumption, do you think it would have been prudent in those circumstances to provide the interim report to the governing body? Have I got the right end of it?
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, to give them the best opportunity to make the best decision on the best available evidence at the most appropriate time.
So
Yes.
yeah, on the assumptions that I've asked you to make, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. If we could then go, please, to document INQ.001.001.1101. So you see from the document on the screen, Mr. Breton, this is the ordinary meeting of the council that was held on the 26th of June, 2024.
Yes.
And what I want to suggest to you is that this was the next ordinary meeting of the council after the one that I just had on the screen a moment ago.
It was.
And again, you're listed as being present as the acting chief executive officer. You see that?
I was.
We could go to page _0005, please. You see there's a description of a motion of urgency in relation to effectively rescinding Mayor 01 staffing matter from the 29 May 2024 council meeting. Do you see that?
Yes.
And if you could just scroll down, please. That's it. Do you see there, number 3, consider the recently supplied findings from the independent investigation into the same matter?
Yes.
And then it says, consider the findings from the OLG investigation when they are made available.
Yes.
And then do you see at the foot of the page, due to the Mayor's ruling, the motion above was not voted on?
Correct.
If we could move forward in the document then to underscore, I think it's 2 pages down, 0007. There is a motion of rescission moved here in relation to the same motion from the 29 May 2024 meeting. Do you see that?
Yes.
And having regard to the motion, it says, should the rescission motion be adopted, we give notice that it is our intention to move the following motion. And if you then just scroll down, please, operator, so that Mr. Breton can see this. Item 2, do you see it's at about 0.5 of the page on the screen? Take no further action until the final report is received and tabled to council.
Yes.
Do you happen to know then, or recall, Mr. Breton, whether the final report had in fact been received from Peter Harvey of Weir at this time?
No, I don't know. My assumption at point 2 is that it had not been.
Quite. That's it reads as though it hasn't been provided to these councillors who have moved the motion. That's the inference one would draw, I think.
That's the inference I would draw in retrospect, looking at point 2.
Yes. And again, if we could just scroll down, please, to the next page. I think shows the outcome of the decision on the motion. Again, the motion is lost, and it says the motion is lost on the mayor's casting vote. You see that?
Correct.
And then if we could bring up another document, please. So it's LCC.008.001.0036. And that, yeah, I was about to say, it can go to the live stream. Thank you. And then if you move to _0004, my friend has just raised an issue about the document potentially. Could we just go back to the first page, please?
Oh, okay. We'll take it down off the stream for the moment.
Sure. I'm told it does look, but I just need to be cautious before I go
Of
through
course.
instructions. So
Yeah, of course, not a problem. And Mr. Parrish hasn't leapt to his feet, so
That would be my privilege probably, and we'd make the claim.
probably, although it gets a bit murky sometimes. All right, the document can go back up and can be live streamed.
And sorry, if we could then go to page 4 of the doc. And scroll down, please, to, you see there, Mr. Breton, this is an email from Margot Kinley on the 11th of June, 2024.
Yes.
And it refers there, thank you for the report on the FFI into the incident involving John Ajaka. I did work out what FFI stood for, but
Fact finding investigation.
yes, the commissioner's on top of it. I'd forgotten what it was. So that's what FFI is indicating. And what is apparent from that then, I want to suggest to you, is that council had received on the 11th of June, or by the 11th of June 2024, a copy of Mr. Weir's report,
Okay.
which goes beyond obviously the version that we saw on the 27th of May, which was the interim report. You accept that?
Yes.
And then if we could,
I accept it infers that. Yep.
if you could scroll up, please, to page 1 of the document. Then just, so this email chain effectively is forwarded to you. Do you see you're in the 2 line, Jason Breton?
Yes.
On the 13th of June by Mr. Galpin.
Yes.
So you're aware that there's a Weir report in the hands of council, whether or not you've seen it on or around the 13th of June, but certainly by the 13th of June, it's in council's possession.
I accept that.
If we could then go, please, operator, to document LCC.008.001.0002. I note the time, Commissioner. I've only got another couple of documents that I want
Let's
to take
keep
Mr.
going.
Breton to. Do you feel
Yeah.
content?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I think unless there's. Yes, it can go on the live stream. I'm being cautious now.
No. We all should be.
The red confidential is a matter of some concern, perhaps, but anyway. And you can see it doesn't have an exact date, Mr. Breton, but at the foot of the page, as it's shown on the screen, you can see it says June 2024.
Yes.
And in view of the emails that we were just looking at, what I want to suggest to you is that this version, at least, had been received by the council on or around the 11th of June 2024. Do you accept that?
Happy with that.
And then if we could
Just when you use council, you're meaning the organisation, not the governing body.
Yes,
Still happy with that?
Happy with that?
yes, by council employees
Yeah,
because of the emails that I've taken.
Yeah, it's just that you can be used interchangeably. I just want to be clear about.
Yes. And then if you could go, please, operator, to _0057. And if you could scroll down, please. There are, in effect here, at about 0.5 on the page, the paragraph beginning overall, if you could just read that to yourself, Mr. Breton.
Yes.
Obviously, you could read this. Well, I suppose first question: have you ever seen this document prior to today?
Yes.
And you've read it?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that is effectively then to your recollection a summary of the ultimate conclusion that Mr. Weir reached in the report?
Yes.
And then if we could go over to page 58, please. We see, as with the previous recommendation, the previous structure of the interim report, the final section before Mr. Harvey signs off on the report is a series of recommendations. And you can see what is there set out. And effectively, all that is contemplated and recommended by Mr. Harvey is that there be consideration given to whether there was a breach of council's code of conduct. You see that?
Yes.
If we could go back, or rather, then there's another version of this document. We could go, please, to LCC.008.001.003. Yes, this is it's described as an amended fact-finding investigation report. But if you just scroll down a little, please, operator, it's on the first page. You can see this version's dated the 19th of June, 2024. You see that, Mr. Breton?
Yes.
So what I would suggest to you then is that it was received by the council, being council employees, on or around the 19th of June, 2024. Do you accept that?
Yes.
And having regard to the meeting minutes that we looked at from the 26th of June meeting, what I want to suggest to you is that this was not provided to the councillors prior to the meeting on the 26th of June.
It would indicate from
That rescission motion.
the rescission motion and Caress Rhodes's comments at point 2 that is in fact true. Yeah.
Yes.
Or that she hadn't seen it. Yes. Or, yeah.
Yes. And on the assumption that it hadn't been provided to them, you would accept, wouldn't you, that it ought to have been provided, having regard to, amongst other things, 335F of the local government.
It was central to the motion. Yes.
Right. And what I want to suggest to you is, well, sorry, I withdraw that. You don't have a recollection of whether it was provided?
No, but on face value, given Caress Rhodes's comments,
Yes. That it wasn't.
I accept that. Yeah.
Nothing further.
All right. We'll take the luncheon adjournment. That should give you time to confer, Mr. Tynan, over lunch.
Yes, thank you.
I know it's difficult, but do you have an estimate of time, just so I can let Councillor Harle know? It's all right. You won't be shut off at the minute.
No, we don't anticipate being too long, maybe 15 minutes.
All right. We can perhaps then tell Councillor Harle 2:30, and I'll adjourn until 2:10. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a few topics, Commissioner. Can I just make sure we're in public session? Yeah.
Yes, I think we returned to public before we adjourn. We're in public? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Mr Breton, you've given evidence during this inquiry about the processes for assessing and investigating code of conduct matters. Can you say anything further about how those processes might be improved?
Yes, I think we had some discussion about the fast track model, and I think there's clearly an opportunity to have the CEO or general manager make an assessment where we have no-brainer or fait accompli matters where it is clear at the very first instance the matter will proceed to investigation. And I think in those instances, the triage by the governance team or the internal ombudsman only delays the inevitable. And I think there's an opportunity there to, in those circumstances, to allow the CEO and write into policy that process.
And what policy would you envisage that be incorporated into?
Well, I think obviously, ideally, it would be part of a suggestion perhaps to the minister around the model code of conduct procedures.
And you gave evidence this morning in response to questions about the tranche of code of conduct complaints that was shown to you. Any improvements you can suggest in relation to tracking progress of complaints?
Yeah, I think even if I've thought about the contemporary nature of the document that I was shown and some of the gaps therein, and even our current risk database, I've mentioned CAM, CAMMS, has the ability to record each code of conduct as a risk or an issue. It has controls and actions. It has escalations through Outlook. It has all the things you would need to derive the spreadsheet. So some kind of systems database, which then allows us to do not only govern the process and the timeliness, it would certainly solve issues like Dr. Betty Green's, where quite quickly we could see what was actually done against the issue and provide a more appropriate response.
You've also given evidence during the inquiry, Mr Breton, about councillor requests. You know what I'm referring to when I say councillor request?
Yes.
And the time taken up staff to respond to those requests. Are there any processes or procedures you can think of that would improve the management of councillor requests and the staff responses to them?
Yeah, I think we have to have another look again at our recently applied staff and interaction policy and make sure that councillor requests again are tracked in some kind of available database that's transparent to both the complainant, that is the councillor, the requestor, the councillor, and also for management to track timeliness. And this has come about because there's been a number of follow-ups from councillors saying, well, it's over the 30 days in the policy. Where's it up to? We're tracking. If we want something delivered by Amazon today, we know when it's packed, when it's sent, when it arrived at the post office, and when you can pick it up. These are contemporary systems, and I just think there are plenty of commercial off-the-shelf products which will allow us to look at councillor requests, and it's something I'm very, very keen to do. I've spent the last 2 days, Commissioner, at the AI conference for local government down in Melbourne, and certainly some of the Victorian councils have had this in place for a year at least in relation to how AI can help manage the request, record the request, set the prompts and guidelines for the request, and return the request to the councillor. So these are the kind of initiatives I think that are important, and something I'll dead set look forward to exploring at Liverpool.
You mentioned during the course of the inquiry a concept of contemporary forensic purpose in respect of assessing councillor requests. Can you just explain that a little further for the Commissioner, please?
Yes, thanks, Commissioner. I did mention that, and again, they're my words, but what I'm trying to address there is contemporary would mean the term of the incumbent council. The genesis of my focus is to reduce the amount of requests that are historical in nature that don't, in my opinion, serve a forensic purpose for the councillor's current civic duties. And it would allow us to filter and respond to councillors in quick time as to their requirement. Now, they may prove a case for that purpose, which of course is an open discussion, but we have to have some kind of filter available to the CEO to make sure we don't find ourselves in a situation where staff time and cost is taken and detracting staff from other things they might be able to do for the community.
There might be some occasions where I look back at history of a proposal or an issue before council that is still live in the current term might need a look back. But your point is, unless there is that connection, your thought process looks at whether that's necessary for the councillor to perform their current civic duties.
And
Have I got the right end of it?
yeah, and it wouldn't be a rejection per se. It'd be like, councillor, please validate your request.
Thank you. Mr Breton, you also gave evidence in response to questions from the Commissioner about how to improve meetings facilitated by councillors with constituents and staff members. Do you remember giving that evidence?
I do, yes.
And it arose in the context of the WhatsApp communications, etc.
Correct.
Are there any further controls you would suggest to improve the transparency of those types of meetings?
Yes, again, I'm taking the benefit of my last 2 days in Victoria to see what some of the Victorian councillors will do about this very issue. And I think the recording and or minute taking of those kind of scenarios is essential. I think that the subject matter expert that's been requested to the meeting, whatever level they perform in the organisation, needs to be accompanied by a director or above, and that the councillor is in attendance with the constituent or applicant to the information at that meeting. There's a number of contemporary approaches by other councils that I've seen in relation to, again, artificial intelligence note-taking. So it doesn't have to be video recorded and we don't all the setup. These are easy, cheap, if not free, available resources to us now. And that allows us an immediate, transparent, independent version of that meeting that is then kept under the Records Act and in control of council if and when it's required to be used in any other environment.
From that, do I take it you had some discussions or got some information from other councils at the conference about this type of issue?
Yes, I've had the PA this morning download the Otter, Commissioner, and again, these tools are available. I think it's just reluctance of councils and government departments in general around this this big scary idea of artificial intelligence. But this really is a fundamental piece of kit that it doesn't expose us to any risk. So, but I just think the benefit of the record far outweighs the perception, firstly, the meeting occurred, but B, what was discussed in the meeting. Because the last thing I want is somebody, an applicant or a constituent, to leave that meeting with a perception or an assumption that something was done because the councillor had influenced it.
Or the subject matter expert on the other end of that, perhaps.
Correct.
Mr Breton, you've also given evidence about direct appointments. In fact, given some evidence about that this morning. Does the council have a policy in relation to direct appointments? So
Mr Portelli and I discussed this last week, and he has presented me with a 4-page policy in relation to this, which I'm going to take forward. I think we have to get a policy in, only if to describe some of the challenges we have spoken about this morning in relation to transparency and the criteria in which, whilst the Act informs the static details of what's required on a fixed term appointment, what it really doesn't do is talk to local criteria. So what I want to do is make sure that everybody's aware of what criteria must be in play before you envisage it. And it could be a bespoke position, it could be a deep SME, it could be something like that. It could be the market conditions we spoke about earlier in relation to senior planners. It could be anything, but the criteria need to be dealt with. So the fixed term appointments, we remove any suggestion of influence or bias in relation to those appointments.
Do you envisage that extending not only to criteria but processes and record keeping?
Yeah, processes and record keeping in relation to, again, a transparent result of why a fixed term appointment was applied, and that is the criteria and rationale, but then who was applied, and the fact that we went through a procedure like conflicts of interest.
And does that involve, I think you raised this morning, some kind of post-appointment information provided to council about the appointment?
I think council and all staff. I think the actual challenge is actually more what the staff think about it, because you could argue about the opportunity cost of why that person and not an expression of interest to the staff, and again, those kind of criteria are first in my mind. That how could you go for a fixed term employment if you hadn't offered it for an EOI to incumbency? You don't know the skill set of all your staff. So I think you have to offer it within the organisation prior to it going out on a fixed term appointment.
Can you just explain that last bit again? What do you have in mind as being the optimal process through this?
Yeah, so I guess what would happen is that we have an let's say it's a there's a role there that is being put up, and there's a person that's fantastic in the market, and then we would normally have just gone to just taken them off the market and appointed them. We may have somebody with a requisite skill set within the organisation that didn't get the opportunity to compete. So that has to be expunged first, that first opportunity. And it might be that they're so deep in SME that we don't have anybody. But we also, I'm always fascinated about the skill set of the workforce and what we don't know about them.
SME means subject matter.
Subject matter expertise, yes.
And is it fair to say that there's a policy position being worked up at the moment? Is there?
Correct.
And what's the anticipated timeframe of that, if I'm not locking you into something?
No, you're not. I will have a look at that, and it'll probably go to November council meeting, and then we'll go out for display after that. So by the end of the year, I think we will have something in play.
I'm going to need a constant rolling policy register
Yes.
with the updates to keep up with this.
New topic, Mr Breton. You provided a statement to the inquiry on the 25th of the 8th this year in response to a request from the Commissioner, correct?
Yes.
And attached to that statement was a number of documents. One of those documents is a document referred to as entitled Becoming Better, Tranche 2, Office of the CEO. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Can I bring that document up, please? It's LCC.030.003.0001. Yes, thank you. That's the document, isn't it, Mr Breton?
Yes.
What was the process for this, or what was the genesis and the process of this document being prepared?
I guess the genesis was, the catalyst was 6 into 4. The genesis was...
Can you just explain that?
Well, sorry. The catalyst was, of course, we devolved to directorates and into from 6 into 4. The genesis was a strong belief from myself that we weren't set up to prosecute the strategic plan effectively, and that concepts which are rather uncouncil-like, like Project 26 and some of the initiatives that I've spoken about, need a different way of thinking in relation to how we actually deliver those opportunities to our ratepayers. So that's really the catalyst and the genesis, and I'm the sole author of the document.
And so what was the process of preparing this document?
So I met with obviously the executive leadership team and Craig Napick, more so in relation to organisational redesign. But I also took a leaf out of, again, businesses that aren't councils and how they might apply a different approach. And then what was clear to me was that this process needed a much stronger interface with the ARIC, the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee. So that's a committee of highly skilled individuals that we use, but I don't know whether we sweat the asset commissioner and we actually tie in all the parts of that acronym into what we do in the business, and that's really where my head was with this document. I think best described at pages 7, 10, and 11.
When was this prepared?
It's prepared now. It goes out to the councillors have seen it only this morning. On Monday, I expect it to be released to all the staff, and it's got all the position descriptions with it, because there's, again, to my point, there's opportunities available to the incumbent staff to participate.
This is part of, as it says there, the tranche 2 organisational design process that I've heard about before.
It is.
And so it's going out for consultation. How long is that?
About 28 days.
And what happens after you receive presumably feedback from that process?
Yeah, I expect to get some feedback. Then I'll enact it and I'll put it up for council for noting.
Okay.
Yeah, because there'll be significant budget opportunities as well that will follow tranche 2. This is part of it.
Just unpack that budget opportunities. Do you mean savings?
Yes, savings. There'll be savings, efficiencies. Most of the roles I expect to in this tranche to be filled from current roles. As the 4 directorates gets unfolded, I was reluctant to create a 5th directorate. That's not what I wanted here.
Yeah.
So I haven't done that. It is a deliberately tactical and strategic approach to running the business. And I think I've got the model about right.
Can I, you mentioned page 7. Can I have?
Yes.
Associate, would you mind bringing up page 7? What is it about this page that you want to describe?
Yes. So again, it's only got 2 components. The office of the CEO is the generic term for the office, but within it is a strategic projects team, and I can talk to that on page later on, and the performance and innovation team. And the only potential change in the review period is to what extent in the performance perspective, can we have a look at where and how a potential internal ombudsman's connected.
You also mentioned page 10, I think. Can we have that turned up, please? So the performance and innovation team.
Yeah, so page 10, or it's got 9 on the thing, but it's page 10 on the document. So we've got the manager, performance and innovation, and they have a dotted line direct to the audit and risk committee. And the reason that is I want to use the skill set of the committee to drive performance, because in the end, improvement's part of their acronym.
I believe so.
Before you moved into the closed session and were shown this, was it discussed with you by the mayor or any other councillor that this type of recommendation of leave and investigation was going to be pursued?
No, not that I recollect in any case.
Okay, so your recollection is the first time you're confronted with this is when you move into the closed session.
Yes.
Excuse me for a minute. Sorry, could you just excuse me? There was debate within the closed session about this.
Yes.
Did you speak during the debate, or
Yes.
what was your position on this?
My position basically was that I do not believe that these were grounds, sufficient grounds to terminate the CEO.
Termination isn't being put forward. It's this proposal of he goes off on special leave with pay and some kind of investigation is undertaken.
Yes.
Did you agree with that?
I don't, to be honest, I don't remember. They were, it got fairly heated,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew what the overall intention was, and that was based on the previous meeting that I had with Betty and Councillor Green and I had with the CEO. I think we understood what this was leading up to. And quite honestly, I thought it was wrong. And as stated in this documentation here, that using those words, in my opinion, and others, is that that's not sufficient grounds to what the process was going to be.
When you, in that answer, you referred to, I knew what, I'm paraphrasing, I knew what the actual intention was, what the ultimate intention was. What, in your mind, was the ultimate intention?
To terminate the CEO.
Now, sorry, if I take you back to the minutes, which was INQ.001.001.1099. And you go to page 10. You've got the recommendation there. Which also now includes that Mr Breton would be appointed as the acting chief executive officer.
Yes.
And then there's some additional matters that are being sought to be investigated, including issues raised and feedback provided by the USU representative with the mayor and offensive chants made by attendees in public gathering.
Yes.
And if we go to the next page, that recommendation was put, it was declared carried. A division was called. You're recorded there as voting in favour of it.
Yes, I did.
From the evidence you gave just then was that when you were in the closed session, you were against it.
Yes.
You changed your mind? Or, sorry, I'll withdraw that.
Yes.
Ultimately, you voted in favour of it. Why did you vote in favour of it?
A good question. I had other thoughts about all of this, and I think I went along with the majority. I was speaking to other councillors who were on next to me, and to be honest, I don't remember entirely why I thought about it, but I voted that way. I can't exactly remember why I changed my mind. I still knew what the overall intention was, and at the time, maybe follow the process and see what happens.
Or indeed the investigation that was envisaged
Yes.
may make findings or recommendation which may be contrary to your view of what the ultimate intention was.
Yes.
All right. Now, after that meeting, there was a period of time leading up to the meeting in the council meeting in May.
Yes.
And at the council meeting in May, do you remember there was another mayoral minute, but this time seeking the termination of Mr. Ajaka's employment?
Yes.
Again, we can get them. I'll just bring up the minutes, which is INQ.001.001.1105. And if we can go through to page page 51. And can you see there the recommendation this time that Mr. Ajaka's contract of employment be terminated, but without notice and with immediate effect, and under a particular clause of the employment contract, which in a sense is termination with cause. So it's like a summary dismissal.
Yes.
Unlike Dr. Jackson, where his contract was terminated without cause and
Yes.
gave him at least an entitlement to 38 weeks. This, in substance, was a summary dismissal.
Yes.
Now, in the lead up to this meeting, did you know that this was going to be presented to you this mayoral minute was going to be raised?
Don't believe I did.
I think you gave evidence that back in the April meeting, you had in your mind what you thought the ultimate intention was going to be, which was to terminate the contract. Here, the termination has taken a particular form that is, in substance, a summary dismissal.
Yes.
Did you know that that was going to be the substance of the motion?
No, I didn't, but I recognise the pattern and what has happened, over the years, a number of CEOs were terminated, and that appeared to be a pattern that was happening in this instance. This is another case of another CEO being terminated for whatever reason. And as I said, I've been there since 2008, and I have seen or witnessed 10 CEOs being terminated. And this pattern was very similar. Yes, I think I'll leave it at that.
You remember the April mayoral minute and the resolution referred to an investigation
Yes.
being undertaken?
Yes.
Were you aware by the 29th of May that investigation had been started by the engagement of an outside organisation called WEIR?
Yes.
So you knew they had been engaged?
I didn't know that they had been engaged at the time. I did read the report. I saw the WEIR report and their recommendations. Now, I'm not sure when that occurred, whether that occurred before this or after this. I'm not sure of the times and dates, but I did see the results.
And this isn't being critical. While you've been waiting to resume your evidence, were you watching it, what was occurring, or the evidence being given in one of the rooms outside?
No, I don't recollect that, no.
We've heard evidence that there were, if I put it broadly again, kind of three variants of a report by WEIR.
Yes.
And the first one I wanted to raise with you was an interim fact-finding report, which was published on the 27th of May. If we can bring up, please, LCC.008.001.0023. And while that's coming up, if I can just indicate to you, after the interim report, there's kind of a draft final report and then a kind of an amended final report, but that doesn't occur until June.
Could be, yes.
And if you have a look here, you can see it's a confidential interim fact-finding report by Mr. Peter Harvey of the 27th of May, 2024. It's only 5 pages. Maybe if we can just have a quick look. And maybe to assist you if we keep on going, maybe if we stop at, 1.4 sets out the fact-finding process to date. So there's been some interviews, some background information, the interim report's been completed. And then if you keep on going, under 1.8, there's interim observations and conclusions, and it talks about the swearing.
Yes.
And then if you can see then the CEO's comments were uncharacteristic and do not form a pattern of behaviour. And then the recommendation is that the council waits for the outcome of the final fact-finding report.
Yes.
Now, I know it's a couple of years ago, but thinking about it, when you're attending that council meeting towards the end of May, had you seen this the interim report?
I don't recollect, to be honest. I don't. I don't remember.
Is that appropriate?
Yes. Councillor, before you came in, I rather flippantly remarked that we're being evicted from the building. We're not being evicted, but our time here has come to an end and we need to remove all the infrastructure. So we need to finish a little bit earlier. That means that when we resume, which I hope will be as soon as possible, and whether here or someone else will need to continue with your evidence. But I'm most grateful for your attendance today and for your patience while we had to interpose Mr Breton to get him finished. And I'll see you again, hopefully in the not too distant future. But you're free to go for the moment.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will adjourn to a date to be fixed, which I hope and will be able to be announced in very short time, is how I'll put it. All right. Thank you.